Hello and welcome. I'm Michael Amar. If you engage yourself with the information you're about to discover, then you're about to become a better magician. You'll need a deck of cards, passion, and dedication. What you'll get in return is a truly empowering utility move. You'll also acquire a new repertoire of solid, powerful magic that your audiences are going to love. Of course, you'll have to put in some time and effort to master the techniques and the magic on this DVD. But, as you're about to see, there's some real payoffs in return for your efforts. So, get ready to learn and to develop. Please, meet my friend and the star of the show, Kostya.
Hello, and welcome to the Cull DVD. I'm Kostya. If you're just beginning to learn the Cull, you're about to discover one of the most versatile techniques in card magic. Now, if you've played with the Cull before, you know what a useful and powerful technique it is. When performed well, it is invisible. Now, whether you're entertaining your friends, fooling fellow magicians, or making a strong impression for an important client, using the Cull will allow you to perform impossible card magic in a pure and seemingly effortless way. This now is your opportunity to learn the real work behind the move. I'm excited for you, and I'm very happy to share. By practicing and learning the Cull, you're transforming your card magic and taking yourself to another level. Have fun, enjoy yourself. You are about to Cull. So the first question I have for you, how do you feel? If you're new to the Cull, you have nothing to be scared about. Right now, we're going to focus on the fundamentals, the basics, how to hold the deck, which fingers go where, how to spread them, how to call one card, and we'll even talk about calling a four of a kind. Now, if you've played with the Cull before, and maybe you've put it down because you were frustrated or something didn't feel right, then this is a perfect place to start. You're going to troubleshoot. You're going to forget everything you know, start fresh, start clean, start from the beginning, and raise your knowledge up. Let's get started. What kind of a deck you use is very important. If you use a brand new deck of cards, they'll have a tendency to slip and slide all over the place. If you use an old deck, they're going to chunk up and not really spread well. So if you take a new deck of cards, break it in for a little while. Give it a couple dozen pharaoh shuffles, riffle shuffles, work the cards until you feel they're smooth but aren't just flying all over the place. In the left hand, you're going to hold the deck in a modified dealer's grip, more of a straddle grip really. Your index fingers in the front, your pinkies in the back. These two fingers are going to create a corridor through which these cards are going to slide. The right hand is going to take the cards not deep in the thumb crotch. Most magicians have a tendency to do this. We're used to spreading the cards like this. So instead, you want to take the cards and place them right where the fingers meet the palm of the hand. So the cards will hit here. This, later on, will allow your fingers to have the room to do all that dirty work. The right pinky also plays an important part. Notice that when the cards are here, the right pinky is curled in. This will allow the cards to square up, and when you hold the cards in front of the audience, depending on which effect you're using for it later on, this will give you greater control and stability as you execute the Cull. The three key elements to making the Cull look good are rhythm, speed, and timing. You'll hear me talk about these again and again as we continue, but let's begin with the rhythm. Let's focus on simply spreading the cards. Begin with the cards in your left hand, index finger in the front, pinky in the back. Place the cards into your right hand and start spreading them out. The first thing you want to do is just take a look and see how you're doing the spread. Do you have a very tight spread of the whole deck? Are you spreading quickly? Are you running through everything just very fast? Or are you taking your time, opening, closing, opening, closing, opening, and closing? This is a type of accordion-style rhythm that's key to making it look good. I first learned this from Paul Cummins when I started playing with the Cull. So begin by holding the cards and spread them out and take a look at how many cards you have in your hand. You should have about 8. You should have a clear picture, you should have it open, close again, open it up, close it again, and keep doing this and create this kind of flowing rhythm that's going to help you out when you're ready to call the cards. So let's begin by calling one card via the standard Hofzinser spread Cull. You're going to hold the deck in the left hand and start spreading them with the right. You can use that rhythm that we just talked about, opening and closing the deck until you find the card that you wish to call. We'll use the 5 of spades. When you spread the cards, the right fingers are going to contact that card from below. Now, if you were just to simply pull those fingers in, close the right hand fingers, that whole spread would close up. You want to avoid doing that. You want the spread to stay. You want the single card to slide out. This is where the left thumb comes in. your left thumb is going to press down on the card above and to the right of the one you want to call. So the left thumb presses on the 8 of hearts. The right fingers contact the 5 from the bottom, and all they do is they pull in. The middle finger pulls in and brings that card all the way down. Now what you want to hear for, what you want to feel for, is that click of freedom when you know the card has cleared. You see, when you start spreading and you get to that card, you'll hear that little click, and as soon as that card is free, you can now relax. Now when you're holding the cards like this, you'll notice that the left hand just has to push up a little bit, and that one card will sit there. We'll just let gravity do its work, and the cards can spread, and you can bring that card all the way to the bottom, and now you've called one card. Now, before we go any further, let me give you an alternate way of holding the cards that you might find easier. Now, this is something that I started doing a year or two after I first started doing the call, therefore it's not natural for me. But if you're just starting out, you can take a look at it, weigh the pros and the cons, and discover what feels better for you. Hold the deck in the left hand just as before. The right hand, whereas before the 3 fingers were underneath and the pinky was curled in at the back, are now going to shift. Now these 3 fingers are going to be underneath the pack, and the index finger is going to curl out in the front, matching that of the left hand. Now the advantage of this is that later on when you're performing, the index finger will act as cover in the front, so the audience has no way of seeing any flashing. The disadvantage is that you won't have the pinky at the back to square up the cards as you continue calling more and more. Now try this out a few times and see what feels better. What you'll find is that if the index finger is on the front, you now have to use the ring finger to call the card. Or you might find it easier to use the pinky finger instead. Play around with it, see what feels better. Take your time because you have to let your fingers adjust and see how your muscles feel about which actions work best for you. Once you feel comfortable with which fingers of the right hand you're using to call the card, and once you know how the 2 hands work together, with the thumb pressing on the other card as the right fingers curl in to call it, you're going to want to pick up a little bit of speed and start getting better at this. This is where timing is key. A lot of magicians put down the call because they start calling one card, but they feel like they always have a hesitation. Well, there's a great way to cover that hesitation, and that's to create the rhythm of the spread. The spectators will never notice the card being called if it's part of the action. So open the cards and close them. Open the cards and close them. Open the cards and close them. At this point, my thumb is now on that ace of diamonds. And I know that just as I close the cards, if the fingers curl in, I'm able to instantly call that 10 of hearts and bring it to the bottom. So practice opening and closing. Notice where the timing is. Don't try to rush it just yet. You don't have to do this fast. In fact, the slower you do it, the more muscle memory you're going to have. So start slow, figure out what time it is, and where your fingers are. Notice that the cards that I call are not all the way here or here, they're not all the way back here, but they're right where my left thumb is. So it's natural for me just to curl in and get that card out. Now, of course, you saw the card slide out there, but if I were to create the open and the close, the open and the close, and time this right, then that card automatically calls out without the audience being any the wiser. Once you're comfortable calling one card, you'll probably be really excited to move on and start calling 2, 3, 4 more. So let's look at all the details about culling 4 of a kind. Now the good news I have for you is that after the first card, things get easier and easier. It's all in the fine details. Why don't we use the 4 fours? We'll place them into different parts of the deck so that way you can see them as we get to them. First card you spread through, open and close, you see it, your thumb goes on the card next to it, your fingers contact from below, and the first card gets slipped out. Once the first card is free, you're going to let it rest there on the right fingertips. Let gravity do its work. You don't have to worry about squaring the card or hanging onto it. Simply let it rest. As soon as it comes out, let it sit exactly where it is, laying on the fingertips. Now continue spreading. Your left thumb is key. Your left thumb is going to continue creating this rhythm. When you see the next card you want to call, when it's directly underneath your left thumb, is when the right fingers are going to do the important work. They're going to clamp up and press. Now notice how when you were calling one card, you wanted to hold the call, the spread in place to do the call, you use your left thumb. Well, now you no longer need it. The right fingers and the cards that you've called already are going to play that part. You see, once the card is here and you spread through and notice the second card you want to call, and the right fingers clamp, at this point all the cards above the one you want to call are set in place. You can literally pick your right hand up at this point. You don't want to do that. In fact, you're going to avoid doing that. But just be aware that all these cards are clamped and held in place. What this allows you to do is tilt your wrist a little bit and then using your middle finger to reach over and pull that second card out. And once that card gets pulled out, as soon as the middle finger applies pressure, the index finger releases, and once it pulls in, the index finger presses. The fingers are like little feet walking along the deck to pull that card out. You'll continue spreading. When you see the next card, you'll clamp with the index finger. You'll reach out with the middle finger, and you'll pull that card in until you feel that click. Once the card is free, you'll continue spreading, open and close, clamp, reach over and pull that card out. You'll continue a little rhythm for the finish, and now you've called all 4 cards. So let's look at this one more time. We'll do this a little faster so you can see how the cards flow. The cards will be separated pretty far out. I'll spread through, I'll get to the first one. My left thumb was used there for the moment. Now it's out of the way. I'll open and close, take that card, open and close. And notice again how the fingers alternate. Index finger, middle finger. They pull in, they get the card where I need to, and then all 4 are brought to the bottom. That's the 4 of a kind. So now you're familiar with the fundamentals. You know how to hold the deck, you know which fingers to use, and you know the little techniques to call 1 card and even 4 of a kind. You're well on your way to mastering this move. Now, you know it's going to take you a little bit of time. In fact, some magicians have asked me how long it took me, and I'll be honest, it took me at least a year before I was comfortable to call a 4 of a kind in front of my audience. Now, of course, it doesn't mean it's going to take you this long. I was discovering all the moves that you're learning now. But with all this knowledge, what you want to do is give it time to digest. Let your fingers learn. When you first start off, you're going to be at a level like this. You're going to go for a while. You're going to go, and maybe it'll be a day or a week, but you're going to hit a wall. Your fingers are going to be tired. Maybe your rhythm is off. You're not going to feel right about it. At that point, put the cards down. Forget about it. Go somewhere else. Go practice some coin magic, some rope magic. And then come back to it. Then pick up the cards, and you'll be amazed that your fingers know exactly what you're doing, and now you're up to this level. You'll continue at this level for a little while, your rhythm will be a little better, your speed will improve, and then maybe a month down the road, maybe a couple more hours on the road, you're going to hit another plateau. Again, put the cards down and come back to it. Learning is state dependent, so make sure you have fun practicing. Enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy getting better at this technique, and you'll slowly, over time, improve all of your magic. Now that you have the fundamentals down, you're ready to discover all the wonderful applications of the cull. We're going to look at how it can be used as a force, as a control, as a switch, and as an out for any contingency. If you've put in the time and the practice to learn the fundamentals, you certainly deserve this, all the wonderful applications in your card magic. One of the basic applications of the cull is to use it to control a selection. Now, there's 2 ways of doing this. You can begin by spreading the cards and having a card selected. They'll look at the card, they'll put it back in the deck, and as your hands come together, your left thumb will have to go on the card above that one, right finger's contact from below, and call that card all the way to the bottom. But there's an easier way. Remember how when you were first learning the cull and you were seeing how to cull 4 of a kind, after you called that first card, it became easier because you didn't have that hesitation and you didn't need to use that left thumb? Well, that's what you're going to do now. You're going to call an indifferent card first. So begin by spreading and calling out any card you like face down. Now I have a card touched. They can look at it, they can replace it, or you can just keep it there. And as the hands come together, your fingers instantly contact that card from below and bring it to the bottom. There's no hesitation. In speed, it looks something like this. You're going through, you call an indifferent card, you have a spectator touch a playing card, they look at it, as the hands come together, the card is called, instantly brought to the bottom. Now at this point, what you can do is you can go into an overhand shuffle. And as you do that, you just peek at that card. It just takes a little glimpse, and now you know exactly what it is. Now, I love giving the audience the feeling of control. So I can give them the deck of cards to shuffle. They can mix it up to their heart's content. I'll take it back for the moment and say, hey, you know what? You did a really good job shuffling. And as I do that, I'll spot the card, I'll call it out, turn the deck over, and now the card is in my control. One of the simplest ways to use the cull is as a key card placement. When you're having a card selected, you're going to call a key card, and I'll tell you how to find out what it is in a moment. You're going to call it underneath the spread. You're going to have a card touched. And now you have the choice. You can either close up the deck, and now your key card is above the selection, or you can just clamp and the card goes underneath there. It really just depends what you need it for. You know, with some effects, you want to have a very hands-off feeling. This allows you to do that. Now, how do you know what the card is? Well, if you were to spread the cards face up, you can take a look and notice, let's say, the 5th card in the spread. So now when you turn the cards face down, you'll call out that card. So when the card is selected, now you can place that right back in and you know where it is. Another way is a little more difficult, but a lot more useful. You're going to call the bottom card. So the card is the 7 of spades. Now in order to call that card, your fingers are going to have to contact it from below. If you pull it out just like this, there's a couple different places where you're liable to flash the card. Sometimes the card will go forward, sometimes it'll go back. Other times, it'll flash because the space between the deck and the card is so big. So here are the tips to avoid that. You want to create a bevel in the deck, not just of the top cards, but you want to start spreading the deck from the very bottom. What this allows to do is that bottom card to slide against that bevel, preventing it from flashing. So when you spread the cards, your fingers contact that card from below, and now they just press upwards, applying that pressure, and the card will slide. Now you can spread the cards out, turn your head away, have them look at the card, replace it. Everything is very, very fair, and yet you know exactly where their card is. Now that you know how to cull a card from the bottom of the deck, here's a great way to use it as a force. You're going to begin by spreading the cards. You've already peeked at the bottom card, so you know what it is. As you spread, you're going to call that card out, and you're going to ask a spectator to touch a card. Now, when they touch that card, you want to make sure you don't square these cards up all the way, but that you don't have a giant spread and their card is all the way out here. You want the card to be, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, sticking out from here. What you're going to do is you're going to bring your right hand up for them to look at the card. But as you do so, you're going to turn your hand like this. This will allow gravity to do the work, and if you just release your grip, the cards will fall together. Your right fingers can kick out and show them that card. To them, it'll look exactly like this is the card they touched. So at speed, it would look something like this. The card is touched. They point to a card. So you want this one? Great. Remember that card for me, if you would. Now, this is kind of a quick gesture. The hands move up very fast. It really depends on your performing style. You may want something a little more solid. You may want to call the card, now have them touch that, and then square it up and then show it to them. This kind of creates the feeling of control, and the sound and all this makes a very big action. I don't like the audience to pay attention as much. I'm casually talking to them. Hey, do me a favor, point to a card. You want this one? Great. Remember that card for me, if you would. It's a very casual action. You'll notice that sometimes the hands even come together, and that action, I'll square the cards up. It's a very casual thing. That's the call as a force. Play with it, and you'll find how well it flows and how easily it goes unnoticed. another great little devious control. In fact, it's a convincing control. You're going to take and you're going to cull in a different card as you spread through the cards, and you're going to have a card selected. Now, as the person is looking at their card, or simply as you're raising your left hand to show them what that card is, your right fingers are going to push that card out just a little bit. When you take back the selection, you're going to take it in the right hand, and you're going to show it to this side of the audience. Now, you want it to look very, very fair. You don't want them to see that you have another card here, so when you place this, just make sure you practice in the mirror so it looks right. Now, your right hand is going to come down. As it does so, your fingers are going to curl in. So notice what happens. This is what you want it to look. It looks here to here. Haven't done anything yet, but now you're here, and then when you come down here, to the spectators, it still looks identical. But now the card is called, and you can bring that all the way to the bottom. So at speed, it looks something like this. A different card is called. The person looks at their card. Now you show it to this side of the audience, and now when you bring the hands together, you've controlled that card to the bottom. The more you start playing with the cull, the more applications you'll start to discover. When I was hanging out with Lee Asher, he was showing me his ideas on reverse spreading the cards. And I thought, hey, this is a perfect way to apply this with the cull. What's going to happen is you're going to spread through the cards until you see the card you want to cull. Let's say it's a 6. Whether it's one card or just the first card out of 4 of a kind, doesn't matter. At this point, you're going to separate the cards. You're going to close your hands. In fact, this is a great way if you have the audience looking at the cards face up. If you spread them fast, you're usually the first one to notice what card you need. So now at this point, you can just close the cards, and now you know that the card you need to cull is all the way in the bottom. Most important now is to interact with the audience. So make a gesture, ask them a question, say, hey, I wanted to ask you. Whatever it is part of your presentation. You just have to create a little bit of time misdirection here. Now, when you bring your hands back together, instead of the cards being spread like this, your right thumb is going to press and going to reverse spread the cards so that they go this way. So it goes like this, and now instantly, when the two hands come together, this packet hits it halfway, at least 2, 3, 4 more cards of the right-hand packet are going to release and be instantly brought to the bottom. So at speed, it looks something like this. You spread, you find the card you want to cull, you close, you gesture, now you come back together, and the card is instantly controlled. There you have it. Another application of the cull is to use it when you have a marked deck. This is just evil. Because what you're going to have is you're going to have all the cards in your control. Now, the Boris Wilde marked deck is great because instead of being marked in the center, the cards are all marked on the left side. So now, as long as the left thumb doesn't cover the markings, you can go through here and you can call out all the cards you need, whether it's one suit, whether it's 4 specific cards. Or, and this is an idea that got Simon Aronson really excited, if you have a memorized deck, then you can take the cards, separate them in half, give them a little shuffle. You ask the spectator to give it one full riffle shuffle. And now when you take it back, because you know the first 26 cards of your stack, all you do is you go through here and you just take them out. Now, of course, you do this under the guise of having a couple cards selected or touched, or while you're talking casually to the person. But the beautiful thing is that you can go through here and you can call out every card that you need with just the marked deck, and no one will be the wiser. Now, later on, you'll learn how to separate the red and the black cards. So once you feel comfortable with the whole deck, you can take a little pin and scratch a little white mark here designating every red card. So now you can have the cards face down, have a card selected, and while the cards are face down, you can instantly have it separated into reds and blacks. It's pretty powerful, pretty solid, pretty devious. So get yourself a marked deck and play around. One of the best ways, and my favorite ways to use the cull is as an out. You see, when I play around, when I'm doing card magic, I really listen to the audience and I try to look for any contingencies, any challenges, any comments that will come my way. So for example, if a spectator picks a card and I'll find it, right, I'll shoot it out, hey, there it is, your 7 of hearts, and some guys, he's being a wise guy, they're going to go, no, my card was the ace of spades. At that moment in time, I can look at the cards and in a second have that ace of spades controlled. Now I can force it on them, I can pull it out of my pocket and say, no, it couldn't have been, I got the ace of spades in my pocket. Whatever it is you want to do, the cull gives you the freedom and the power to get away with it. Now, the most important part about it is when you call that card out. Let's say they just named a card, just like in this situation. The spectator goes, I didn't pick that card, I picked the ace of spades. You spread the cards in front of you and you go, really, the ace of spades? And you look for it. Now here I have it right before me, so this is great. When you spread out, you see it right away, just be happy. If not, you'll continue spreading until you find it. You go, no, wait, that's impossible. The cards are faces towards you. So let's say the ace is right about here. Once you see that card that you need to call, your left thumb is going to go on the card above it, just as before for the one card, hostels or spread call. And you're going to call it, but you're going to do it as your hands come down. Because what you want to do is you want to catch them right at that level, right where their eyes are. So the cards are here. As you get to their eye level, you perform the call, and you go, no, you know what, that's impossible. Now they can see the cards if they want to. I don't even have an ace of spades. In fact, that's actually the card that's in my pocket. Whatever it is you want to do, you've got that power. Just make sure you do it at the right exact moment. Practice this in front of a mirror so you catch the right eye level. And be aware of who's standing and who's sitting. Because if you're at a restaurant, you know where everyone's eye level is at. It's very easy to get away with it. But if people are at different angles, you have to know which ones are not going to see it and which ones are, so they have to be verbally misdirected. Be aware of the situation, do the call at the exact moment, and you have an out for every contingency. So the more you play with the cull, the more applications you're going to discover. Learning the fundamentals is one thing, but being able to apply them and seeing the results in front of a real audience is what gives you the energy and invigorates you to keep practicing and getting better. But do make sure that you have the fundamentals down first. When you go out there in front of your audience, you want to feel confident. As you go through your routines, you'll find that a cull can substitute many moves. You can use it instead of a force, instead of a control, instead of a switch, and my favorite way, as an out. You can take certain parts of your routines and tighten them up simply by using the cull. And over time, you'll find that the cull will become a fundamental part of your entire repertoire. Because you're able to utilize it in so many ways, in so many different situations, you'll start to grow more confident. You'll start to see great uses of it. And with practice, it'll just be natural. So you've been working hard, and now you know what a useful utility move the cull can really be. You've put in the time to learn the fundamentals, you've seen all the applications, and now I know you're ready to move on. You're ready for a challenge. Forget one card, forget 4 cards, you're ready for the whole deck, aren't you? So this is a section. We're going to talk about how to separate reds from blacks, cards upside down from right side up, and I'll even give you something special to work on, the angle cull separation that'll give your fingers quite a challenge. Have fun. Once you're able to cull one card and then 4 of a kind, you're going to get excited and you're going to want to go for the whole deck. Well, I got some good news for you. Not only is it going to be easy for you once you've got the fundamentals down, but there's specific psychological and visual factors that are make it invisible to your audience. Now, rhythm, speed, and timing are key here. So let's begin looking at how you start the cards and what happens when you're calling more than one. We'll be calling the red cards right now. I'll spread through. I'll see the ace of diamonds, and that'll be the first card I call. I'll go through here. Now I see the 7 and the 2. Now when 2 cards are together, and once you have the cards above them clamped, and your fingers can reach in underneath and touch them, the only thing you have to do is touch the last card. So what that means is you don't have to touch the 7, all you have to do is touch the 2. And the moment that your finger touches that 2, the fingers can curl in, and both cards will go at once. So if I go through here, and I see that there's a 10, a 4, and a queen when I find them, my finger just touches the queen, and you'll notice that simply by curling in, all 3 cards go in at once. Now when you get to a big group, let's say like 7, 8 cards, you don't want to just go for the last one because suddenly it'll look like a huge bunch of cards just vanished. Instead, you want to take them in groups. So if the cards that you've called are here, riding underneath the spread, when you see the next red card you clamp, you would call 2, 2, and then 3. The idea here is to anticipate, to look and just see which ones you need. Do you want to need 2, 1, 2, 1, 2? Every time as you continue spreading, your mind has to make a decision because you don't know if you have a big spread of cards or a small spread of cards. Start off with 1, then grab 2. And if there's a big group, take them in chunks so it doesn't look like the cards simply vanish. Once you've mastered the technical aspects and feel comfortable at calling 7 cards or 5 cards just as easily as you call 1 or 2, now you're ready to work on the full deck separation. Now to start, look at the cards and see where you want to begin, the first card, the second card, or the third card. Now in our case here, I would begin with the Jack of Clubs. And I wouldn't really pull it all the way. You notice there's a second card next to it. What I would do in this case is pull that card out just halfway and then instantly call the other one out. So my index finger, my middle finger would start this, pull it out a little bit away, the second finger gets there, and now I can continue doing the call in a regular way. Now if I have 2 cards at the face, I'm not going to call the second one because this would be flashing it. Instead, I'll just skip it and move on to the next one, and I'll slip cut those cards later on. Now, if you have 3 cards, then it's much easier because you can spread through, simply take the third one, call that out, and now you've begun the call. Just as important as the technical aspects are to the call, the visual factors are just as important. Now, there's a simple rule to follow when you're calling half the deck. Whatever is the color of the face card is the color that you want to call. So if I begin here, I'm going to call all the red cards. You'll find that everything looks just right. But if I were to eliminate this red card, what you'll see is just a sea of black cards, and the red card somehow vanishing into the void. Now, if you do this face up, face down, you'll really begin to appreciate the difference. Because right now, if I'm calling all these face down cards, everything looks great. But the moment that I eliminate these 2 cards, and all I have left is the face up cards, now it starts to look pretty bad. So that's a simple rule. If the top card is face down, you're calling all the face down cards. Face up, calling all the face up cards. Now there's something very, very important, a little detail that I see so many magicians do. When they start spreading the cards that they're not calling are often left just like this, spread out. What happens when they do this is that the audience sees all these face-up cards being left. Now you'll notice that my cards are being squared up. That's because this is natural for me. And that's the secret of the left thumb. Because as I call, I'm constantly squaring up these cards, and I'm only leaving a few behind. That way, there's no chance of these cards flashing and for anything to give it away. I'll do this in action so you can really see this. I honestly didn't even realize this is what I was doing until a couple of friends pointed out the importance of the left thumb. So let's say we're separating reds and blacks. I'll give them one more little shuffle to make it fair, make it a little more difficult for me. And when I spread the cards, the left thumb, every time I get to a black card, it goes above. Now remember how in the first card, your thumb had to be there to keep that pressure? Well, there's no need for the left thumb to keep pressure. But what it's doing is it's closing up the spread. So look what happens. I press, and all I leave is the 5 and the queen sticking out. I press and I leave the 6. You really only need 1, 2, at most 3 cards for cover. Just make sure that the cards are very far spread, allowing you to do this. Because if these red cards are closed up like this, you're not going to have room to call that card. These cards have to be spread out far, just not all of them. So you'll see I have the ace and the king showing, the ace and the 3 showing, the 6, the queen and the 2. Every time the left thumb squares up those cards, all it leaves is just enough cards to create the cover in order to call the cards that are necessary. Those are the visual aspects. Take a look at it. Watch this again and again. Make sure you understand this clearly. These are the important details that make the call look so good. Now, the more you practice, the better you get, the more little details you'll discover that you have to work on and finesse. Little things that you can take care of. So this is the troubleshooting section. Let's tighten this up. One of the problems that I hear people come all the time is the cards get out of control. The cards become all messy. This happens especially when you're first learning it because you're still moving very slow and you're very conscious of your efforts. And you're trying to do this and you're trying to figure out how everything feels and the cards literally, they just get out of hand. especially when you're doing the full deck or the angle call separation, and people get frustrated. There's no reason to get frustrated. You can feel relaxed about this. It's going to go away eventually. Just take care of the little details. Now the fingers are there to help you out to make sure the cards get squared up. This makes us go back to the fundamentals. Remember, index finger in the front, pinky in the back keeps these cards square. It creates that tunnel. So you know they're not going to get out of hand. The pinky is here in the back to make sure that when the cards are there, when they coalesce, especially if you're performing in front of an audience and you're going to be calling like this when you're performing for them, you want your pinky here. If you don't have it, those cards are going to fall out of your hand. So instead, when you're performing for a big crowd like this, you have to have your pinky there to make sure the cards get squared up, because now gravity is forcing them to come down, and this is nice because they're being squared up against your pinky. Now, another important element is when you have these cards called, the ones you're calling, they start to get out of hand. So if you're doing this and you're being very, very messy, you're going to start losing them. To prevent this, here's what you do. Curl your left fingers in, and if you feel like a big block of cards is about to get all messed up, you can square them up against the backs of the left-hand fingers. So it's very useful. You have these cards are riding underneath the spread. If you're afraid you're going to lose them, you can just butt them against these fingers. Now they're squared up. If your index finger is in the front and you're calling with your pinky and the ring fingers like this all the time, then you can simply let the cards fall down. Because you're performing in front of your audience this way, you're forcing them to look down. Now the gravity will bring the cards down that way, and that's the best way you can have them squared up. Either way you do it, just be aware, if the cards are getting out of control, there's a really good reason for it. So slow down and take a look which way they're falling, why they're falling, and then you can discover exactly what you can do to prevent it. You've heard me mention lots of times that one of the most important things is rhythm. So what happens when your rhythm breaks? See, I've seen a lot of magicians, they're going through and they're calling along, and suddenly something happens, and you see they just lose their whole body language changes. And they give away to the audience that something is wrong. Now, the beautiful thing about magic is that the audience doesn't know the ending of a trick. So in our shows, if something goes wrong, we can go a completely different way. And the same thing applies here. The audience doesn't know that you're calling. They don't know that you're trying to do anything. They simply see you spreading the cards. So if you're going along and you're spreading the cards and suddenly you break because you had a hesitation or you lost a card and you had to go back and get it or readjust, don't give up. Don't let it show in your body language. Instead, simply pause. Take a look at the audience, make a comment. If you break your rhythm, there should be an external reason for it, not an internal one. Then continue. Go back to the spread, and once you feel comfortable and are back to spreading, repeat the rhythm break. By repeating it, you're making the audience believe as if it's simply meant to be. It's no longer one little glitch through one smooth spread, but it's a couple beats, a couple of pauses. Now, the audience is no longer aware of it, they don't think about it. It just becomes a regular thing, and now you solved your problem. So if you make a mistake, pause, repeat it, and you'll be fine. Another problem that can often occur is that as you're calling the cards, you'll lose the spread. The spread will close up. Again, this happens when you're first learning it, and the reason it happens is because your spread is not wide enough. So if you're calling the cards, but you have your hands very close together, then what's going to happen after a little while is that these cards are going to be tough to call, and these cards are going to square up, and you're going to lose this. Now, the way to prevent this is to make that spread a lot bigger, to make it smoother. If you spread out 4, 5, 6 cards in a wide fashion, then you're not going to worry about losing that spread. But hey, once in a while it happens, and there's a great way to get out of it. So let's say I'm calling along, and I've got a nice stack of cards here, got about 4, 5, 6, 10 cards, red cards here, and at this point something happens and I suddenly break. These cards are now squared up. All you have to do is with your right pinky, pull down anywhere above the cards you've already called. So if you know that half of these cards are red and half of them are black, then all you have to do, and you want to overestimate, not underestimate, but you just pull down, and you can pull down 2 or 3 cards. And now you just take these cards and you simply push them in there. Now in this case, if I have a red card, what I'd probably do is I'd drop this card off here on top and I'd continue spreading. Or if I stopped here and this was a red card, I'd bring my hands together, I take this red card, get rid of it, pause, then do the pinky pull down, spread these cards, and now the black cards go in where they need to go, and the red cards are continuing to be called. Remember that each card is consecutively brought to the bottom. Therefore, all you have to do is just pull down, and the cards will automatically go there. I'll do this at speed for you so you can really see it in action. Let's say the cards are mixed. It doesn't even matter which cards I'm calling. I'm just going to call a bunch of them. And at this point, something breaks. I pause. Now remember, if I make a mistake, I'll slow down. I won't act like it's a big deal. As I talk, I get the pinky pulled down. My hands come back together. And now I can continue calling the cards that I need to. That's a great way to fix that mistake. Here's another problem that can often occur. And the solution for it not only solves that problem, but makes sure that you never lose any cards that you call. Now the problem is this. You may not even notice that you're doing this, but when I bring this up, you'll look in the mirror and you'll go, ooh, okay. When a person is calling the cards, and let's say you're going for half the deck, and you've got a good chunk of 20 cards in your hand, the tendency after a while, because you have such a thick packet, is to literally pick up the hand and to pull these off. Because it's difficult for them to go up. So you're tempted to pick up your hand and pull, pick up and pull. Now, the audience will notice this because A, there's a big shadow effect that appears there in between the cards. And if they're looking from the side, they'll clearly start seeing this. Now, one way to fix this is to turn your body. So if the audience is in front of you, you're going to turn this way. So now, even though you're picking up these cards, it's not seen as much because you're in front of them, faces. But you've got to admit, it still looks pretty bad. So here is where the wrists come into play. The wrists are such an important factor here. Let me show you what I mean. You start off spreading the cards, and let's say you've called these 20 cards, and you're continuing calling. Now, instead of picking up to pull that card to the bottom, all I do is I turn my wrist inwards just a little bit. Now the left edge of the card is pressed, and it stays connected to that card. But what happens is that card now clearly, it has no choice but to go to the bottom, and I don't have to pick up the deck at all. Now you'll notice that if I turn my body this way, there's nothing for you to see. Because the cards are flushed together, there's nothing for you to see at all, and there is no gap that's created. The audience never sees that. So try that in the mirror. Take a look, notice if you have that problem. Put a good 20, 25 cards in your hand, and see if you have the tendency to pick up. If you're doing this, now you know what you need to eliminate. So do that. Pick it up, play with it. Just tilt your wrist a little bit. Simply by tilting your wrist inwards, you'll find that every card is coming out clearly and there's no more flashing. Now the other great thing about having the wrists there is this, is that when you have them, you're never going to lose a card. Magicians say all the time, well, I was calling 4 of a kind, I thought everything was perfect, and then the moment that I came back to it, I lost some cards. I didn't get what I needed. So, if you're going to do that, by tilting the wrists, it'll prevent any cards from losing. Because the reason you lose the cards is because when you felt that click and you thought you were pulling, the click never really happened. Remember, you're pulling, and sometimes you'll feel like you got it, but really you end up losing it, and you end up putting back some of the cards you called earlier. By tilting your wrists, you make sure that you pick each card cleanly, and not a single card is left behind. Every card that you need is going to be called out of there without a single problem. That's the power of the wrists. Take a look in the mirror, and you'll see for yourself. So perhaps you've mastered calling 1 card and you feel comfortable with calling 4 of a kind and you've got the whole deck down and now you're just bored and in need of a challenge. Well, in this case, this is for you. I call this the angle call separation. I started working on Leonard Green's angle separation before I even learned the call. And so when I started playing with the call, I combined the two together. Now it's useful in specific situations. You can actually separate the deck into the 4 suits, or you can have a 4 of a kind, 2 4 of a kinds called out, and keep them separated. So for example, I have these kings and aces all mixed up here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to interlace them, just place them into different parts of the deck. So now they're there. And now when I'm ready to call, I'll call the first one out normally. There's that ace. It goes in regular way. When I get to the king, however, instead of using this fingers, I'm going to use the pinky and pull that card down and get it to in-jog. So as I go through, the ace goes in normally, the king goes in-jogged. Ace goes normally. When I get to the king, I use my pinky and I pull down, I in-jog that. The ace is normal. The king gets pulled down, in-jogged. So now when I square up, the only thing I have to do is strip out those cards. And now I've got the 4 kings followed by the 4 aces. Nifty, isn't it? Now, of course, little things you want to watch out for. You might have noticed that as I was calling the cards, where the pinky was sticking out here in the back, and every card was kind of seen flashing here at the corner. Well, to make sure that doesn't happen, when you first spread those cards out, just in-jog a couple, like this. So now let's say if I'm calling the 9 here, and then I'm down-jogging the 5, now it's a lot less liable to be seen, and what I'll do is I'll also kind of call them as much as later as possible. So they don't go at an angle here, but they get pulled in and then down. So if I'm here all the way, when I see the 9, here's a regular one, And when I get to the end, I can just strip this out, and I can get all the cards that I need, the 4, 5s, and the 9s. Now, if you're going to do this with a full deck, you're actually able to separate it into the 4 suits in just 1.5 spreads. This is the fun part. This is the challenge, all right? You begin by culling, let's say, the hearts and clubs. Hearts go in one way, and then clubs go in the other way. So as you're going through, hearts are going this way, clubs are going the other way. Hearts, clubs, hearts. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't actually do this that often when I'm performing. I'll do this as an exercise for myself, or because it takes so much attention to really do this right, I'll do it casually if I'm talking to someone, just to kind of warm my fingers up. But I don't often count on it when I'm working full-time to really get the job done. I think it'll be easier to turn around, walk away, and out-jog it somewhere else. But if you've done that, you separate all the clubs and you separate all the hearts. Now you can go back and you can check, see if you've missed anything, and you clean that up quickly. But now what that does is it leaves the top half of all the spades and the diamonds together. Now here's the nice thing. If you are really going to do this in action, if you're really going to put in the practice into it, here's what I would do. Begin by first spreading the cards and taking out the jokers, or taking out the 4 aces. You're setting up for a trick. You're telling the audience, I just need these 4 cards. And as you up-jog whatever cards you need, that's when you cull those 2 suits first, turn it over, you strip out the out-jog cards if you didn't take them out already, then you strip out your in-jog halves, so now they're separated. Now you set the deck down, pick up those 4 aces, do the trick with the aces. And now when you're ready, you go back, and the great thing is that the audience won't notice that these are just spades and diamonds. To them, it'll look like a really full shuffle deck. So now once you've got that, all you're doing is culling 1 suit. You can slip cut the cards that are there in the face, and now you've separated all the diamonds, all the spades, all the hearts, and all the clubs. That's the power of the angle cull separation. Well, there you have it. That's a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of stuff for you to work on. You got technique, you got visual aspects, psychological aspects, you got the weird angle cull separation that'll break your fingers for a while, you got the full deck stuff to work on. You have a lot to play with. I know you're going to enjoy it. All really matters is how much time, how much practice, how much play that you put into it. Remember that learning goes in stages. So if something isn't going perfectly right, just take your time, take a break from it. Walk away from the cards. Come back a week later, come back a couple weeks later. Pick it up again, you'll find that you've become better and better each and every time. It might take you a month, it might take you a year, maybe just a couple days to transform your ability to work with a cull. It just depends on you and how much you enjoy doing this. Have fun with it. And now that you have all these skills, and you have all this stuff, you're ready to move on to the good stuff. You're ready to see the magic. So here it is, in the real world, in action. Check it out. Now it's time to see the cull in action. Welcome to the Garlic, beautiful Italian restaurant in New Smyrna Beach, Florida, where I've had the absolute pleasure of honing my material over the last 4 years. Come on in. So how are you guys doing today?
Hi,
You guys doing
excellent.
relaxing, enjoying the beautiful Florida weather?
Yep, beautiful.
All right, so-
Came in for a great dinner.
Awesome. Well, hey, it's a good place to have a good dinner. Now, I want to try something. You know, I've been here for about 4 years. I hang around here to meet a lot of interesting people. One time, I had a really crazy guy. This is so weird. I asked him to shuffle the cards, and I turned around for a second. He literally took half the cards, and he turned half of them face up, half face down, and then he shuffled them into each other, just like that, okay? Again, something you would normally do, but he literally went crazy, and so when I turned around, he was throwing the cards, kind of playing like 52-card pickup. Would you like to reach in there, turn more cards face up, less cards face down, do whatever you like, do whatever you feel like? Absolutely, we'll get in there. Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. So now, thank you. Now here's the idea. And I think this is the hardest part of the show right here, is actually just getting the cards together. Okay, perfect. So this is kind of a little strange because the card trick goes backwards, right? First the cards are shuffled, and then as I go through here, I'm going to ask you to reach in and take out a card from you. It could be face up or face down. Doesn't matter. You can grab one out. It's okay. It's up to you. Whatever you like. Perfect. And would you mind also, Jeff, please reach in and grab a card face up, face down. Perfect. Now show it to the camera. We'll make sure that we can see it. We have a king of clubs, and what's the other card we have there?
2 diamonds.
2 diamonds, perfect.
Spades.
2 spades. Perfect, perfect. Good, good, good. So here's the idea. We have the cards. Do you want to put the card back in face up or face down? It's up to you. What would you like?
Down.
Face down. Okay, so we'll slide it in there, somewhere in there. There goes the king of clubs goes face down. And you want the other way. Okay, perfect, perfect. So we'll slide it in there. Perfect. Now, I know it's a big mess, but don't worry about the mess. All I want you guys to remember is that 2 spades and that king of clubs. Okay, we'll square it up all the way, just like this. Okay. Now, can I ask you to place your hand out for me if you would like this? Look. And hang on tight. At home, do you ever take oil and water? You ever mix them together?
Yeah.
What happens?
When they separate?
Exactly. This has a point. The reason I bring it up is if you let them sit there for a little while, right? See, they start to separate. And see, even though we're in crazy, look, every card is face up except for 1, actually except for 2 cards. And hopefully, lucky for me, it's that 2 spades and that king of clubs. Perfect. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate that. It's a start, right? We're warming up, I want to try this for you guys. I'd like to begin by having the cards shuffled up. If you wouldn't mind, give them a nice little mix so we make sure the cards are not in any particular order. Everything is very, very fair. Perfect. And then, if you wouldn't mind, I'm going to ask you to, well, you can name a playing card.
Come on over,
Oh, we have more people? You want to come on in? We can do this. Let's get more people the merrier, right? Absolutely. Come on in, come on over here.
Grab a
Let's
chair.
get together.
What's going on here?
Absolutely. Grab a chair. You can turn around. Perfect. You get a chance to see it. In fact, here, we've had a deck card shuffled.
Let me stay out of the way here, though.
No, we want you to come in. You're going to get to help us out.
Uh-oh.
Your name?
Clyde.
Clyde. Here's the simple idea. He just shuffled the cards. I'm going to ask you to name any card you
There
like.
are much smarter men here than me.
Well, but no, it's not. It has nothing to do with smart. It has nothing to do with smart. It's about imagination and fun and creativity. So you get to name whatever card you like.
Let's see. Queen of Hearts.
Queen of Hearts. Very good. Is there any particular reason why you named that Queen of Hearts?
It sounded a little more poetic than
Sounds-
the Ace of Spades.
I like it, not a problem. So here we have that Queen of Hearts right there. Would you mind taking it out for me if you would? Right now you know where it is in the deck, but we're going to try something different. I'm going to have you place it back in the deck, and you get to place it back in wherever you like. So you can slide it in anywhere you
put
like.
it down?
Absolutely. Actually,
Yeah?
face up.
There you
Do
go,
it
right
face
there.
up for me.
Oh, face
Yeah,
up?
face up. Exactly.
So,
Perfect.
easy to see that way.
Well, you know what it is? I'll even leave it so we see it there the whole time. Because here's what I want you to realize what happened. You shuffle the cards, right?
Correct.
You named any card you wanted to, right? You put it back in the deck. All we have to do is get that Queen of Hearts to help us out. If we just square them up, just like this, and you wait. The Queen of Hearts calls its friends. There's the Queen of Spades, Queen of Clubs, and that Queen of Diamonds. Thank you, guys. Perfect. So that's a start. That's exactly.
I don't even want to know how you did that.
You know what? Good. That is exactly the edit. Absolutely.
Magic.
It's magic. It's got to be.
I love it. I love it. So let's try one more little thing. I'll tell you what. The cards are mixed up, and I'm going to ask you, would you mind? Could you just grab any card you like? You can take it out. Now, I won't look. You get to show it around to everyone. I won't see it. Make sure you guys got it. Is that good? Is that fair? Can I turn it around? Mm-hmm. You get to drop it back in for me if you wouldn't mind. And who here can shuffle the cards? Who can give him like a? Would you mind? Give him like a little mix. Any kind of shuffle you like. Give him a nice little mix.
I know he's more of a card player than I am.
Player, doesn't he?
Perfect. Just like this. That's excellent. One more. Yeah, that's perfect. Now, I'll share with you guys a little secret. Actually, how this is going to happen. You touched one card and one card only, right? Which hand did you use to touch the card? Now, can I see the hand real quick? Just all I have to do is get. Perfect. That's all I need. It's just the fingerprints. Because you touched one card, he's been shuffling the rest of the deck. All I have to do is find the one card with your fingerprint, and I'll be able to get to your card. Now, don't say anything. When I see it, I'm going to try to stop it. Okay, so don't shout it out. Keep a poker face. But the moment that I see it, I should be able to stop it. And I think I've narrowed it down. I'm feeling pretty confident. I've been able to narrow it down to about 26 cards. You're not that impressed, are you? You're not that impressed. Okay. When you shuffle, did you shuffle them like this? Did you give an overhand shuffle, or do you give? Oh, you gave the whole thing. You gave like the fair. Okay, you gave it a riffle shuffle with a bridge. That kind of smears the ink sometimes. It makes it a little harder for me. I'll try it anyways. I'll tell you what I do. I'm gonna unshuffle the cards. Now, I know it sounds strange, but here's the idea. Instead of shuffling the cards like this, unshuffling looks something like that. I don't know if it worked perfectly. Okay? I don't know if it worked exactly right the way I want it to be. But if it did, what I've been able to do is to unshuffle the deck into 26 black cards.
No way.
And perfectly into 26 red cards. No, thank you. Appreciate that. And that's what I mean by 26. Well, here, I know it's one of the black cards, so I'll gather up the black cards. I'll leave them right here, just like this. I'll gather up the red cards right there, and I'll take out your card, the spade, right? 1, 2, 3. Look, I'll stick it right inside here. Believe it or not, the 3 has vanished from over here, and to make it easier for you to see, has reappeared right over here. Perfect. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for coming out to the Garlic tonight. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
For dessert.
Are you ready to do the crazy shuffle? This is the craziest thing I do. So are you sure you're ready to do the crazy shuffle? Okay, good. Here's the idea. You're going to start off by picking out a card for me. So go ahead, you take one out. Anyone you like. I won't look. I'm going to turn around. Show the card around to everyone. Make sure you guys see it. You guys all got it? I won't look. Can I turn around?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. You can drop it back in there for me. Go ahead, place it right back. And who can shuffle up the cards? Who can give me? Would you mind?
Sure.
How do you normally shuffle the cards? Like this, or what do you normally do? Perfect. So you get to give them a little mix. Now, for now, this is like the normal shuffle, right? But I said we're gonna do the crazy shuffle. So can you take it? Perfect.
one?
You know what? Separate them like you're gonna shuffle, but then take half of them and turn them face up. And then shuffle the face-up cards into the face-down cards. Kind of like a crazy upside-down, crazy like drunken shuffle. Something you would normally do, you know? But we're here at the Golly to do something crazy, and just don't push them in. Oh, no, don't push them in. I'm sorry, did you push them in? Are you serious? Different trick, that's okay. No, that's okay.
It's force bad.
No, that's okay. No, my fault. I'm so sorry. Here, let's do this.
Here,
Okay.
I'll fix them.
No, well, how long would it take you? No, it's okay.
Take me just a couple seconds.
Really? You'd
Not
be that
seconds,
good? Well,
minutes maybe.
minute, exactly. What? Okay, you know what? Here, let's do this.
Fix that?
What?
I was gonna say it won't take that long. Let's just fix it.
Well, here, why don't we do this? I'll give you to fix it in a second.
didn't you?
I wish. No, are you kidding me?
Oh, she fixed it.
No. Do you still remember the card?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's try. You know what? Here, I want to do this. I'm gonna see some. Don't worry about the deck. I'm gonna see if I can pick up on your card. Okay.
No way.
I'm gonna try. Just look for the card. Okay.
No way.
Don't say. Just watch for it. Okay. Don't say anything. When I see it, I'm gonna try to stop it. Okay. So don't shout it out, even though it's a mess. When I see it, I should be able to stop it. So don't give it away. It should be coming up here. You didn't. Not the.
Tell you which one it is?
I don't think you saw it in there. You didn't
Yes,
see
I
it.
did. Yeah, we did.
You really saw it face up? Okay. Okay.
Is that really working out for you?
This is tough. You know what? Here, okay. See, never worry. Look. Here,
Here,
look.
redo. Here. Oh, we're the retard table.
I think we got it. No, I think we got it. You know what?
Yeah.
You see that?
What? Wow. Can you still tell us what cards are?
Oh wait, I missed one.
It's probably. Wow. That's
that okay?
impressive.
Oh, I'm so glad. Thank you guys so much. You guys are great. Thank you. I appreciate
God.
It's nice to have you guys here. Are you ready to see a little magic?
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful. What is your name, sir?
Robert.
Robert, so good to see you. And you are?
Carol.
Carol and?
Darren.
Thank you guys for coming out here tonight. Robert, you're going to help me out. I'm going to ask you to shuffle up those cards. You know, you want to make sure I play fair. I call myself an honest cheat. You know, I want you guys to know that I'm cheating, but I do it in the most fair possible way. So that way the cards start off shuffled. And Carol, if you wouldn't mind, 52 cards in the deck. You can name any card you like. What would you like?
7 of spades.
So it's a pretty good card. Is that like a lucky card for you, or what is that? Just for fun. Good. I like it. Perfect. So here we have. How far down would you say the 7 of spades is right now in the deck? About a quarter of the way, right?
A quarter, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have you take it out for me if you would, okay? And this way you're gonna replace it, right? In fact, actually give it to Rob for a second for me if you would. And Rob, you're gonna help me out. I'm gonna have you slide that 7 in the deck anywhere you like. You get to place it in face up. Exactly. Slide it in wherever you like. Perfect. Now think about what's happened, right? You shuffle the cards, you named any card you wanted to. You put it wherever you wanted to. All we do is we push the 7 of spades in all the way and we wait, and it calls its friends. Check it out, 7 of clubs, spades, diamonds, and the 7 of hearts. Perfect. Good. Thank you, guys. So that's a start. Now, I'll show you something strange about these cards, all right? I'm going to have you hang on to that 7 of hearts for me, if you would. Can you take the 7 of diamonds? And I will give you the 7 of spades and the 7 of clubs. Perfect. Now we're going to do, you shuffled normally earlier. I'm going to give you kind of a crazy shuffle where half the cards are face up, half the cards are face down. I'm going to push them in just like this, and you actually see them being shuffled all the way, right? Not every day you get to do that, right? So now that they're mixed up, cards face up every single which way, doesn't matter. You have the choice. You can put that 7 of hearts back in the deck, face up or face down. It's up to you, whatever you like. Slide that in there. Excellent. Okay, so there goes the 7 of hearts. And you have your choice also. You can put it back in face up or face down. Perfect, just like this. Which one would you like to go first, 7 of clubs or the 7 of spades?
Spades.
Slide that in there, face up or face down. It's up to you. Perfect. And then, of course, 7 of clubs, you're going to do it the other way?
Yeah.
That's fine. It's up to you. Wherever you like. You can slide it in there. Perfect, just like this, okay? So what we have here is we have one giant mix of these cards, okay? Some cards face up, some cards face down. All we have to do is just wait kind of, I think that's it.
That long?
That's it, that's really all it takes. I know it makes no sense, but look, if you look, just like before, look, there's the 7 diamonds, there's the 7 of clubs, the 7 of spades, and the 7 of hearts. Perfect, good. Thank you guys. Good. Thank you guys. Now, I'll tell you what, we'll try something really crazy. This is my favorite thing in the world. Can I ask you, would you mind, could you reach in and grab a card for me? You're going to take a look, show it around to everyone. Make sure you guys see it all. Everyone's got it? Now, don't let me see it. I'm going to turn back around here. And who here can shuffle the cards? Who here can, you can do that? How do you normally shuffle? You think, well, we'll try it here. You can take the cards. You know what? I have an idea for you. What is your name? Susanna, we're going to do something really cool. Are you ready? I'm going to give you half the cards, okay? And we're going to do a crazy shuffle. Take some cards and drop them here on the table. Take some cards, drop them here on the table. Go ahead, drop them just like that. All right, now drop some the other way. So you're going to drop them face up, and then face down, and then face up, and then face down, and then face up, and then face down. Do whatever you like. Go crazy, Susanna. Go nuts. Whatever you like. Now, normally, you wouldn't do this, right? This would take forever to go through. Perfect. Yeah, exactly. We get to shuffle them up. Would you like to hear? Can you shuffle those up for me if you would? And here, I'll take back the rest. Thank you so much. So again, something you would normally do, but this is about as crazy as it possibly gets, right? So here's the idea. I'll take those back. Thank you so much. Here's the idea, guys. I know it's one big mess, but do you still remember your card? Okay. I want you to look for it. I don't want you to tell me which one of these cards is yours, but just look for it. And when I see it, I'm going to try to stop it, okay? So maybe it's face up, maybe it's face down. The moment that I see it, I should be able to get to it. So don't give it away. Don't shout it out. I think it's coming up here. And you know what? Actually, I have a feeling that I don't think you saw the card in there, right? You didn't see the card in there. Oh, you did see it?
Yeah. It was a king.
It wasn't? Okay, good. I'm glad she didn't tell me. Okay, good. You know what it is? With all these cards face up, face down, it's kind of hard to see. If you watch close, if you see the cards, you see it happen? Even though we went crazy and even though we shuffled the cards, look, they're all straight. And every card is now the same way. Every single card is now facing the right way. Oh, except for one. But hopefully, lucky for me, that's that. 7 of spades. Perfect. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I'll tell you what, let's try one more thing. Could I ask you to help me out? Would you mind grab any card you like? Go ahead, take one out for me if you would. Anyone at all. And show it around to everyone. I won't look. Make sure you guys see that card. All right? You can show it to the camera too. Make sure they got it. And can I turn back around? Yep. All right, very good. Now I'm going to ask you, could you shuffle the cards? How do you normally shuffle the cards? You give them like a little mix like this for me? Give them a little mix. Now I'm going to try something. This is a little secret. I'm going to try to look for the card if I can. Try to reach in there and find it here. I'm going to look for your guys' reaction. So I'm going to tell you right now, try to keep a poker face if you can. Try not to give it away. Perfect. Thank you so much. So here's the idea. I'd like you to look for the card. The moment that I see it, I have a feeling I'm going to be able to stop it, okay? Now, I know it's not the queen, for example, but let me see. It should be here coming up. I don't think you've seen it yet. You guys aren't reacting. You guys aren't screaming. You know, okay, I think I've narrowed it down. I've narrowed it down to one of 26.
Well, that's good.
That's not impressive, is it? That's not that impressive. Okay, that's okay.
Sounds like my ability.
It's halfway there, you know. When you shuffle the cards, did you shuffle them like this? Did you give them like a good little riffle shuffle? You did. Okay, that might be the tough part. I'll tell you what I'll do. Instead of shuffling the cards, I'm going to unshuffle them, okay? And it's kind of strange. Instead of shuffling, I'm going to unshuffle. Now, I don't know if it worked perfectly. I'm not sure if it did. But if it did, what I've been able to do is to unshuffle the deck perfectly into 26 red cards. Wow. And perfectly into 26 black cards, just like this. Well, you know what it is? I know that's what I mean by 26. I narrowed down. I think it's one of the black cards. So I'll tell you what. Can I ask you to hang on to the black cards? And can I ask you to hang on to the red cards for me? I'll take out the card, the king. Yeah, the king of spades. Right? I'll sneak it right inside there. Now, believe it or not, here, if we take these, you'll see the king has actually vanished from over here. And to make it easier, well, no, that's the king of clubs. To make it easier for you to see, look, right over here, bud. Check it out. Right there, the king of spades. Perfect. Thank you guys so much. You guys are good. Thank you. Now, I want to show you something crazy. You know what, I do a lot of performing, and here the other night, there's one guy who did something really crazy. He asked if he could shuffle the cards. I turn around, he's like, turn around, I want you to see how I shuffle. I figured, okay, I'll let him be fair. And this is literally what he did. He took half the cards face up and half the cards face down, and then he actually shuffled them together, just like this, okay? Now I want you guys to see this. It's not an illusion, right? The cards are really, really being mixed, right? That's pretty fair, right? Now, with this kind of mix, I wasn't aware of this. Now I turn around, and now he's like, all right, buddy, do a card trick for me, right? Crazy guy. So, this is something I'm going to try to do, see if I can do this for you. We won't worry about the mess here. All I'm going to ask you to do is, as I go through here, okay, you can point to a card face up or face down. It doesn't matter. Which one looks good to you? It can be face up or face down. What do you prefer? Wait, I'm sorry, did I pass it? Go ahead, take it out for me. Which one was it? Oh, the ace. Perfect. Okay, good. So now we have one card. Do you like cards more that are face up or face down? What do you prefer?
Face down.
Okay, go ahead. You can take one out face up or face down. Yeah, go ahead, grab one out for me. And then show it to us, show it to the camera to make sure we can see it, right? Well, that's a good one. Hey, that's perfect. Ace of diamonds, ace of spades. Now, do you want to put the ace of spades back in face up or face down?
Yeah, keep it face down.
Face down. Okay, very good. So yeah, let's slide that in there. Perfect. Okay, so we see it go in there. Do you want the other way, or how do you? What are we doing? Okay, perfect. So let's slide that in there, make it more difficult for me somewhere in there. Now, let's do this. Here. Look. Forget about the mess. Forget about all these other cards. Just remember ace of diamonds and ace of spades. Okay, that's pretty fair. Yes. Now let's try this. Can I borrow your hands from me if you would? Like this, palm up, just like this. Perfect. Hang on to that. At home, do you ever take oil and water? You ever mix it together? Never? Not for fun, I understand. But next time you try it, you know what happens, right? If you let them sit there, they start to separate. And the reason, you know where I'm going. The reason I bring this up is if you let the cards sit there, see? They start to separate, see? And there's only one card out of all those, see? Every card facing the right way, except for two. And hopefully, lucky for me, that ace of diamonds and that ace of spades. Thank you, guys. Awesome. So that's a start. We got it going. Here's the idea. Salim, I'm going to ask you if you wouldn't mind, shuffle up those cards a little bit. Give them a nice mix so we know the cards are in no particular order whatsoever. The cards are fairly mixed. Perfect, very fair. Is he a poker player? Is he a little bit? Okay. All right, awesome. That's very fair. Now, the cards are shuffled. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to move anything. I want to keep them the way they are. But you're going to name any card you like. What card did you like?
Queen of Hearts.
Queen of Hearts is a pretty good one. That's Queen of Hearts. So, why was there a particular reason you named the Queen of Hearts? No, okay. How far down would you say the Queen of Hearts is in the deck right now?
Which is the top?
About half, almost halfway. Okay. Would you mind take that Queen of Hearts from me if you would? Okay. And you're gonna put it back in the deck. Okay. But we're gonna do it in a different way. I'm gonna slide these cards down. You can place it back in anywhere you like, but place it face up for me if you would. Just like it's perfect. Now let's think about what has happened. Okay. You shuffle the cards, right? We didn't change anything around. You named any card you wanted to. Named the Queen of Hearts. All we do is we push the Queen of Hearts all the way in, and look, it calls the other ones. And just like this, look. There's the Queen of Spades. There's that Queen of Diamonds and the Queen of Hearts, and finally that Queen of Clubs. That's perfect. Good. Thank you, guys. Awesome. Now, I want to do something interesting, because now that we're getting to know each other, I think we can try this. It's a little more psychological in nature, okay? Here's the idea. You've been shuffling the cards. Did you shuffle the cards earlier too? Oh, you haven't? Okay, good. Then in that case, point to a card for me, if you would. Point to one card, anyone you like. Take it out all the way. Make sure you guys see it again. Show it to the camera too. And I'm going to turn back around. Excellent. And you did so well last time. I'm going to ask you to shuffle them again. And there's actually a very important reason why I have you shuffle them, because you only touched one card. Which hand did you use to touch the card? That one right there. Perfect right there. No, see, that's all I need. It's just a fingerprint, and now I've got it. Now you shuffle the rest of the deck. I'm going to look for the card, okay? Don't say anything when you guys see the card, okay? I think... Is that... Let me see again? No, that's not it. Okay, it's not hers. Okay, I was just checking. Look for it. I want you to look for it, okay? Don't say anything. When I see the card, I'm going to try to stop it, okay? And don't shout it out, but the moment that I say I'm looking for... No, that's not it. You know what? You put your fingerprint on the Queen of Hearts, too, so it might throw me off a little bit. But as long as I think I'm able to get it... Okay, I've narrowed it down to about 26 cards. Which apparently to her is not that impressive. It's, you're not, okay. When you shuffle them, did you give them like an overhand shuffle, or did you go all the way and you give them like a full-on riffle shuffle
I
too?
give an overhand.
Okay, oh you did, okay. I'm gonna do this. In order to find your card, I'm gonna unshuffle, okay? So if shuffling is like this, an unshuffle looks something like that. Now I don't know if it worked perfectly. But if it did, what I've been able to do is to, okay, I think I got it, is to unshuffle into 26 red cards. And perfectly into 26 black cards, just like that. Well, thank you. Well, Thank you guys, very kind. But that's what I mean by 26. I narrowed down to one of those 26 cards. So if I gather up the black cards, I'll leave them right here. I'll gather up the red cards, I'll leave them right there. I'll take out your card, the 5, right? Perfect, you see the clubs right there too, right? I'll sneak it right inside there. Believe it or not, the 5 has vanished from over here. And to make it easier for you to see, has reappeared right over here. Perfect. Thank you guys so much, thank you. You guys are wonderful. Thanks so much for coming out here tonight, I appreciate it. So welcome to the Garlic, how are you guys doing tonight?
Fantastic.
Good, have I ever done any magic for you before?
Absolutely not.
No? Okay, well, beautiful. Well, then I have for you. You look familiar. I done for you. Okay, good. But you guys haven't. So, first I'll just warm your eyes up a little bit so we kind of get you guys on the same scale. I'm going to do a little bit of card magic here. And I'm going to try something here for you. Oh my God. That's not a good start. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. That's not a good start. No, that's okay. No, here. You know what? No, forget it. Let's go.
I played this game before. It's not fun.
Here, let's do this. Okay. I'll pick those up. Would you mind, meanwhile, can you shuffle those up for me if you wouldn't mind? Yeah, just give them a little mix up. So what is your name, by the way?
Phil.
Phil, what is your name?
Nikki.
Nikki, could you shuffle those up for me if you would?
Sure.
I'm sorry about this. And what is your name?
Frona.
What is that?
Frona.
Frona, I love that name. Frona, can you shuffle those up for me if you would? Good. And you do look familiar. I believe, is it Aaron?
Aaron.
Aaron, very good. Okay, excellent. Okay, so here, there's a few more. I'm so sorry about this, but there you go. Okay. So let's just go with this, and I'll do a new card trick for you guys. How's that? Something I've never done for anyone before. Is that okay? All right, okay, cool. So I'll take those back when you're happy. And here, would you mind grab a card from me if you would? Grab any card you like. It's okay if you want. Great. And grab one card out of your packet if you like. You can grab one out of yours too. Doesn't matter which way they go. You can grab one out from me if you would. Perfect. And you can grab one out from here if you want instead, or if you want. Yeah. Perfect, good. I'll take all those. Okay. And then here, you have, you can grab one out as well. Why not? Okay. Face up or face down, doesn't matter. Very important. I want you guys to remember the card. And I'll even look at them in a second, at some of them maybe. But show them to the camera. So go ahead, show yours to the camera, Phil, make sure it's got it. And then go ahead, put your card back in. Now, you can put it in, and this is the cool thing. Yeah, okay, we can do this, okay. You can put it back in face up or face down. It's up to you, whatever you like. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying face up is easier. You're so kind. Thank you. Okay, 7 hearts. Good. Okay. And would you mind dropping your card in face up or face down? Doesn't matter. Perfect. Just like this. Great. And you're going to remember your card. We have the 2 hearts. Great. You can drop it in. Perfect. And then you remembered your card?
Yeah.
Do you prefer to put it back in face up or face down? What do you like?
I'll go face up.
Okay, perfect. So we have the 10 as well. So we have this giant mess. So face up, I believe face up, face down, and I believe you put your card back in face down, right?
Face up.
Oh, face up. Okay. So 3 cards one way, your card the other way. How about this? What if I could do this trick? And again, I've never done this, but I'm going to try it. If I can make all the cards face the same way, would that be impressive?
Sure.
Okay. Do you want to face up or face down?
Face down.
Face down, okay? Or face down.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm serious. But to make it easier for you to see, I've straightened out every other card. Except
Oh my God.
for these. Look, there's 1. There's 2, and there's 3. Let's see, do we get that 5, the 2, and that 7? How do we do? Good, thank you guys, thank you. Now whose card were we missing?
Mine.
Your card was missing, right?
Yeah.
I believe, I don't even remember, what was the suit of your card?
Club.
A club, okay? I'm gonna try this, So what I want you to do is I want you to reach in there and point to any card you like. Just go ahead and reach in.
Point?
Yeah, point to one, anyone you like, absolutely. I'll go
I
very
want that
slow.
one.
Which one, this one right here?
No, that one right there.
This one, are you sure?
Yeah.
And what was the card again? The 10 of...
Club.
Clubs? Good. Perfect. Good. Excellent. All right. Beautiful. Good. So that's a good start. I'll tell you what. Now that the cards are shuffled, and now that we got everything kind of cleared up here, would you mind, can you give him one more shuffle for me if you would give him a nice little mix? And, I don't know, do you have a favorite card by any chance?
Queen of Spades.
It's a very good card. So go ahead, you shuffle those up. At this point, do you know where that Queen of Spades can be in the deck? Okay. So look, very fair. I'm not going to change the position of anything. All we do is we go through here and we find that Queen of Spades, and we'll take it out for you. Here, let's see. Maybe it's not even in there. Okay, there it is. Perfect. What made you name the Ace of Spades? Just because it really was your favorite card?
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Oh, I play a lot of hearts, and it's a bad card.
Okay. So then normally you wouldn't want it, unless you were going to keep it till the end, right? Okay, fair enough.
I want to dump it on somebody else.
Yeah, well then in that case, tell you what, you can give it back to me. Okay. You can slide that queen anywhere in the deck you like. Just slide it in there for me if you want.
Upside down or right side up?
Let's do it face up. So we can all see where it goes, okay? Perfect, just like this. Okay. Excellent. Now here's the idea. Think about what just happened, right? You shuffle the cards, right? You named any card you wanted to. Nothing was changed. All we do is we push the queen all the way and we wait just a little while. And I don't know if it'll happen, but look, there's a queen of diamonds. There's a queen of hearts. There's the queen of clubs. And there's that queen of spades. Perfect.
God.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, my favorite thing to do is this, and this is kind of a little strange. Who here hasn't touched the card? You've touched well, each one of you has touched one card.
That's right.
So I don't know if this is going to work perfectly, but we'll try it in kind of a strange way. Would you mind, can you grab a card, any one you like? I'll have you take it out. And show it around to everyone. I won't look, make sure you guys got it. Is that fair? I'm going to turn around. Okay, go drop it back in for me if you would. And how do you normally shuffle the cards? Like, do you usually give them like the usual like...
I shuffle and bridge.
And the bridge.
Yes.
Should I let her shuffle?
I don't know, that's up to you.
Okay, all right,
If you want to pick them up off the floor,
okay.
sure,
Hey,
go for it.
I already did it, so you know, if we do it a second time, that's okay. Okay, go ahead, you take them. Give them a little mix, give them a little shuffle.
Now I'm not going to be able to do it. Uh-oh.
Listen, gotcha.
There you go.
That's tough, I know, these things throw me off too. All right, so we got a mix.
Alright, so we
Beautiful,
did
that was
it.
perfect, thank you. So here's the idea, I want you guys to look for the card, okay? I don't want you to say anything, I'm gonna try to kind of gauge, sometimes a lot of people go, oh, that's the card, you know, they give it away. Hopefully you won't do that, and when I see it, I'm gonna try to kind of stop at it, okay? And I have a feeling, I'm narrowing it down to a couple. I'm narrowing it down, I wanna say it's one of 26. Which apparently is not impressive at all to you guys at all. Okay, I see how it is. When you shuffled, I know you shuffled like this, and then you gave it like an ultimate, like a little riffle shuffle with a bridge. That makes it a little more difficult for me, I'll be honest with you. But I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna try to unshuffle the cards, okay? This looks something like this. I'm gonna show you. If I take the cards, this is the shuffle, this is the unshuffle. Like that, okay? Now I don't know if it worked perfectly, right? But if it did, what I've been able to do is to unshuffle the deck into 26 red cards. And perfectly into 26 black cards. And that's what I mean by 26. I've been able to narrow down to one of these. So here's what I'll do.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Well, let's take it a step further. I'll tell you. I'll gather up the black cards. I'll leave them right here for now. I'll gather up the red cards right here, okay? And I'll take out your card, the 3, right? The spade? I'll slide it right inside here. Now look, believe it or not, the card has vanished from over here, and to make it easier for you to see, has reappeared right over there. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. This has to be one of my favorite effects in all of card magic. Ever since I combined using the cull to have the triumph effect, this trick has become a signature piece of mine that I've used to fool hundreds of magicians all over the world. I love the faces, especially before anyone knew that I could do the cull, that they had no clue what happened because it's such a powerful effect. And so if a magician can get fooled by it, you can imagine how an unsuspecting audience can be completely blown away by it. Now I'll share with you not just the basic technique, but the little details that make it such a great performance piece. You'll begin by having a card selected. You can have it out. When they put it back, remember you can call it a different card. Then when they put it back, call that one out. And when you look at it, you peek at it, and now you know what it is. You can force it. You can do whatever it is that you want. But as long as you know the card, we'll use the ace of diamonds. That's all that matters. Now have the spectator shuffle the cards. They can shuffle them any way they want. You kind of watch. You can make comments about it. And now ask them to turn half the deck face up and half the deck face down and shuffle them into each other. Now there's a lot of good byplay here. You know, and depending on what kind of an effect you want to have on your audience, you can do different things. For example, you can literally describe to them what they're supposed to do and why they're doing it. You can tell them a story about how one night a drunk guy took your cards, turned them face up, face down, and then shuffled them. Or you can create a very awkward moment in a way, a very tension-filled moment, by asking the spectator to shuffle the cards half face up and half face down. And as you see them doing it, as they're shuffling, you kind of start looking away, but in the corner of your eye, you notice they're about to push them in, and at that point, you turn around and go, just don't push them in. Oh, too late. And it's great, because the look on their faces and on their friends is just like, oh, what just happened? It really brings them right to the moment, makes them aware. Now, do this only if you feel comfortable really being there with your audience and really playing around with them, and your acting has to be strong enough to make them believe that. So once the cards are shuffled, half face up and half face down, all you know is the card is the ace of diamonds. You can ask them to throw the cards on the floor, shuffle them face up, face down, do whatever you want. In fact, if there is a table, I recommend just doing that. Let them all fall. If people's hands are empty, then you can give certain people certain cards and they can shuffle them more face up, less face down. The more they get involved, the better. Now when you take back the cards, all you have to do is look through for a second and notice whether the card is face up. If you don't see the cards face up, turn it over. And now you can double check, but you know it's there. The only thing I recommend doing is cutting the deck. So it does two things. Number one, it brings a top face down card to the top, because that's important for the visual aspect. And it brings their selection, the ace of diamonds, somewhere in the middle or the lower half. You don't want them to see it right away. Now, you do this just kind of commenting. You say, oh, look, do you still remember your card? Oh, good, you do. Okay, well, somewhere in here, don't tell me which one it is. And now, of course, depending who you're performing for, you're going to do something different. For example, if I'm performing in front of the crowd, stand-up situation, I'm going to turn this way. If I'm performing close-up, then they can look at the cards this way. Depends where you are. So I'll turn this way so you can see, and I'll start spreading through the cards, and I'll start calling every single face-down card. And I'll say this, the beautiful thing is this, I say, look for your card. Don't tell me which one it is. I think I know what it is. It's kind of a sixth sense thing, and I'm just talking non-stop. I'm talking a mile in a minute, spreading through the cards. And the great thing is that between listening to me and looking for their card, they're not going to notice that anything strange is going on. Now, when I get to that ace of diamonds, I call out that ace of diamonds, and I continue calling out every single face-down card. When I get to the end, the situation that I'm in is I'll have one or two cards on top face down, followed by half the deck face up. Notice that the last card is in-jogged. I did that as I closed the spread. I in-jogged that last card, and then you have all the face-down cards and their selection. Now, at this point, a very good trick can be ruined with a very bad half-pass. So, instead of trying to make it a very secretive move and trying to half-pass the deck, what I've done is made this into an action, into an open action half-pass. It looks something like this. You pick up on the in-jog, and the first thing you do, you pull up with your thumb, is to get rid of these cards. So you thumb off the one or two cards that are face down. Now I turn my hand over. So I turn my wrist, I show here, and as the hands come together, I'm going to literally just let this packet fall over. So as the hands are here, the packet falls over and the cards are squared up. It happens in less than a second. It's not a hidden action, it's really an open action. And in real time, it looks like this. That's it. There's nothing to see there. Now all that's left is for you to snap your fingers and spread through and to show them that every card is face up except for their one card. Now again, how you do that is going to have a different impact on the audience. The most important thing is to realize what's going on in their minds. They have no clue that the cards have righted themselves. So how do you set it up? How do you build the anticipation? I like to kind of break their state for a moment, and I ask a whole different question. I say, hey, you ever cook with oil and water? You ever try mixing them together? This is out of nowhere. They kind of look up strangely confused. And I explain to them, what happens? If you let them sit there, they start to separate. Well, the cards are kind of the same way. If you let them sit there, they start to separate. And notice, I time the word separate as I do this first spread. It usually takes them 2-3 seconds to realize what has happened. Now they go, no way. I go, yep, every single card is turned face down. Now I know that I'm about to approach the ace of diamonds, so before I do, I'll often break my hands and show them. So it's like this. These cards are separated. That's right, every single card is turned the right way. Every single card except for one. Get to the end, come back, and hopefully, lucky for me, that's your ace of diamonds. That's Caligula Triumph. It really is one of my favorite, one of the strongest effects. I mean, you can do this anytime, anywhere. As long as you have an idea of what their selection is. Now, they can mess with you all they want. They can take the cards. They can shuffle them. They can go crazy. They can go wild, throw the cards all over the floor. The fact that this is so fair is what makes it so convincing and so strong. And now that you have mastered calling the cards, one card and four of a kind in red and black, and can do all this, you'll feel confident, to go out there and perform this in front of the audience, making sure that they focus on looking for their selection. That's all the misdirection you need to completely blow them away. Enjoy it. Now I'd like to share with you another version of Triumph. This one is a little more devious. And the real reason you might want to try this one first is the reason why I didn't publish it when I came up with it a couple years ago. You see, I was doing the regular Triumph, the Caligula Triumph, for a long time. And I was comfortable with just spreading through the cards, and magicians would all ask me, aren't you afraid that the spectators might catch you when they're looking at you spread the cards? Aren't you worried about doing the call right in front of them? And it never bothered me, and it'll never bother you as long as you feel confident in your technique. But I know how it is. Anytime, you get a new trick, you want to go out there, you want to do it right away, right, before you've even practiced it fully. So this version has so much misdirection, has so much built-in misdirection, that you can actually go out there and do it. And even if your call isn't 100% perfect, you'll still get away with it. Now, that having been said, it doesn't mean you should go out there and do it. And that's one of the reasons I didn't publish this for several years. I kind of kept it, hidden. But now here it is. The title of it is Shuffle First, Ask Questions Later, because that's exactly what you do. Simply by changing the timing, you're going to have a lot more misdirection. Now, why do you shuffle first? Well, again, that's up to you. You can either tell a story, you can ask them to do it, or, and this is my favorite way, is you do it kind of by accident. Sometimes you're able to drop the cards. So if you have a couple cards and then you have shuffled secretly, well, the audience isn't looking. You take half the cards or a quarter of the cards face up into face down, you ferro them in there, and now as you're talking to them, you drop the cards on the floor. Suddenly these cards are all mixed up. Another great way to begin the effect. Builds a lot of tension too. So, cards are shuffled face up, face down. The audience is there. You have them do it, whatever you've done. Now you ask two people to help you out. And as you ask them, you say, do me a favor, I'd like you to help me out. I need you to take out a playing card. And as you do that, you begin to call all the face down cards. Sneaky, isn't it? You call all the face down cards as you're having the first card selected. So someone takes out a card. Now you want to buy yourself some time, so you turn to the second spectator, you ask them their name, you say, would you like to take a card out face up or face down? It's up to you, it doesn't matter. And they, let's say, take out a card face up. As they take it out, you continue calling the cards, and this is very, very important that as you're finished, you don't square the cards up all the way. You don't want them neat. You want them messy. So as you bring the cards together, notice that I in-jog the last face-up card I got to. Notice that the cards come together, but I leave them as they are in this messy state. Now the two selections are in their hands. And the deck of cards is just like this. If you squeeze, then the cards will not square up. Now you ask for the first card back. And you ask them, you say, do you want to put your card back in face up or face down? If they say face down, you slide it in the upper portion. If they say face up, you slide it in the lower section. Doesn't matter what they say. Put it in. Now you take back the other one. And you don't even have to say a word. You know, you want to get them to put it in the other way. And they'll usually do it. So you can say, and you want to put yours in, you know, we'll finish the sentence for you. They'll go, yeah, the other way, you know. They feel like they're making this more difficult for you, so it's perfect. So now you place that in, and I like to put it all the way here. Creates more of a visual mess. So now I say, look, I know it's a big mess. I don't want you to worry about it. I just want you to remember the 8 of diamonds and the 10 of diamonds. The 8 of diamonds and the 10, that's the only thing you have to remember. It's so convincing. It's so great. Now you just slowly square up all the cards. And you relax. Because relaxing is the most important thing. You're about to do the action half pass again. You're about to do something a little sneaky in an open way, but you want to break the moment. Right now the focus is here. The second that you drop your shoulders and relax, they relax as well. Now this allows you to pick up at the natural break. So you're going to do like a Charlier cut, simply by pressing here and pressing with your thumb, the cards fall away, they separate at that natural breaking point. So now when they do that, you can do this, you slip cut, you say, here, look, place your hand out for me, palm up if you would, and you place it in their hand. Now you wait, take a beat, say, check it out. Now every card has straightened itself out except for one. I'll jog one. Wait, luckily, 2. And hopefully, those are your 2 cards. Now, a great way to build up towards the finish is to set up the effect in their minds. Remember, all that's left when your show is done is a memory. So what kind of memory are you creating? Well, I like to build the effect this way. I place the cards in their hand and I say, look, you pick the card, you shuffle the cards face up, face down, you guys pick them, you put them back in. One card is facing up, one card is facing down. Would you be impressed if yeah, let's try it. If I could make both of them turn the same way, would you guys be impressed? They say, yeah. I say, okay, which way? They go face down. Go watch. Done. Nice little laugh there, you know. You pause. Go, no, seriously, they are face down. And to make it easier for you to see, I straighten out every other card except for your 2 selections. So that is a beautiful effect. Simply by changing the time of when you do the call, you've got a whole new effect, a whole different presentation if you want to do. And if you practice, you'll get to go out there and do it. But even if you don't have it perfectly down, this is a great opportunity for you to go out there and get comfortable doing the call right underneath the audience's noses without them ever realizing it. This next effect is a favorite of mine. I came up with it originally because I really wanted to mess with magicians. And then with most of my effects, I started performing it for lay people and realized that just by adding some emotion and interest to it, you know, a boring card trick, a card trick that's about the cards, can now involve the whole audience and be really interesting if you build it up the right way. So I begin by giving the deck to a person and asking them to shuffle the cards. I pick the one who really played cards or really knows something about them, someone who's going to care about the fact that they're shuffling, that they're in control. I turn to someone else and I ask them if they know all the cards, they're familiar with all of them, and I ask them to name any playing card they like. That person names a card, let's say the 5 of diamonds. Now when I take back the cards, I say, look, watch close. No sleight of hand, and as I do this, I'm going to call the mates, the other 3 5s. Now in this case, for example, when I picked up the deck, you see that the 5 was here second. Kind of a bad situation. I've told you before that you don't want to call the second card. In this case, I would kind of pause, I would break, and I go, why'd you name the 5 of diamonds anyways? And then I would come back and I'd do that reverse spread, and now I've got the card called. Now I get to the 5 of diamonds and I'll out-jog it. And if, like in this case, the card's already out-jogged and I still need to call 2 more cards, I have to buy some time, I'll go, okay, you named the 5 of diamonds. How far down in the deck would you say the 5 of diamonds is? They'll give you an answer. Meanwhile, you've called the other mates. And when you get to the end, you in-jog that last card, the bottom card, and you square up. And they say, oh, it's about 10 cards down. I go, no, look, he shuffled the cards. He was in all control. Did you know that that's where it was going to be? They say no, and I give them the card at that point. This is not a set pattern. It really depends on where the other mates are. If they come before I out-jog the selection or if they come afterwards. With enough play, you'll figure out when to buy time. So now they're holding on to the 5 of diamonds. You have the in-jog that's above the other 3 mates. You have to get those turned over. And you're going to do it in a smooth move. It's a hidden move, but it's done kind of in the open. At least it's covered by a shuffle. Here's how it looks. You pick up on the in-jog over here. You pick it up, and you're going to pick up and you're going to turn over the whole deck. But you're going to do it in a hidden way. So you're going to do it by sliding. And the deck keeps in contact with the card the whole time. So you're here, and you just shuffle off, and now you've reversed the cards on the bottom of the deck. So as you do this, I find it helps if I turn my body. So if I turn my body at that point, the shuffle is completely covered. It works really well. Now the 3 cards are on the bottom, and what you're going to do is you're going to essentially re-slide them, restack them into the different parts of the deck. So you spread through, you contact the bottom card, you call it out, making sure to keep pressure so it doesn't flash at the front, and you just reinsert it into the deck. You continue going, you pull out, and you insert it, you pull out, and now all 3 cards have been loaded into different parts of the deck. Now at this point, what you can actually do is you can do the ribbon spread hideout. By spreading the cards on the table, because the 3 loaded cards are face up and they're side jogged, they're not going to be seen. You have a nice little spread here. So whether you put it on the table or keep it in your hand, this is a full face down deck in their minds. Now at this point, you have them take back their selection and you have them slide it back into the deck face up. You square it up very, very slowly and you build up. You build it up, you say, hey, look, you shuffled the cards. You named any card you wanted to. You didn't know where it was going to be. We didn't do anything with the deck, and you can say that confidently because no one's even going to remember that you shuffled because that shuffling moment happens as they take that card. So you can say, look, we never changed the position of any of the cards. No one has ever called me out on that. You say, we didn't do anything. Cards are fair just as you shuffle them. You put the 5 in, you square it up all the way, and you say, watch close. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, and that's 4. Build up. You build it up, and now you spread, and there they are, the 5 of hearts, the 5 of spades, the 5 of diamonds, and the 5 of clubs. This is a great, powerful, clean effect. If you build up the conditions right, they're going to be completely blown away. Moreover, once you've got a 4 of a kind, you can go into so many other tricks that you want to do, including the next one, something that I like to call, and if all goes wrong. So if you were excited by the 2 different versions of Triumph, and you thought about, well, wait a minute, if you can change the time, then you might have jumped ahead and realized that you can also call the cards, not just when the spectator is looking at them, and not just when the cards are being picked, but also when the cards are being returned. Now this is a little more difficult because now the focus is on the cards. So in this case, your call has to be perfect in order for you to get away with it. So make sure you've practiced this and you feel very confident in it. Now I like to start this effect by, as I mentioned in the other effect, by shuffling the cards face up into face down. It really creates, interest when the cards go all over the place, and you have to convince your audience that, oh wow, it's okay, no big deal. Let's just go through this. Let me make something up on the spot for you. I know the cards are all crazy and they're all mixed up, but let's try something anyways. If you can convince them of that, you've got emotion. What more do you want in Magic Trick? So now the cards are really mixed up, and if there's 2, 3, 4 people, I hand out the packets to the different people. I have each person pick a card from a packet, and then I collect all the packets, and now I have the whole deck. So let's say we'll use these 4 cards, Ace, 3, 5, and 10. Now as I go through here, and I have the cards returned, I'm going to start calling all the face-down cards. Now as I'm calling each face-down card, I'm asking them to replace their selections. Now they have a choice. They can either put their card back in face-up or face-down. If they put their card in face-up, then of course I'm going to call it out. I'm going to call every face-up card that they put back in with the face-down cards from the deck. If they place the card back in face-down, what's great is I'll leave it there. In fact, I'll leave it sticking out. That way it's part of the visual convincer. You can see how good that looks because now they're seeing face-down cards amongst the face-up cards. I'll continue calling. Let's say the next person puts it in face-up. I'll call it out. And the last person puts it in face-down. I'll leave it there. I'll call the other face-down card. And I'll time it so that I'm getting towards the end of the deck as I get to the last person. Now again, you have this giant mess. You can kind of show this display if you want to. And all you have to do is just square up, slip cut that card, do the open turnover, place it into their hand, and now just wait. You can do a little turnover, whatever you like, and then you spread, and the 4 cards are there. The Ace, 5, 10, and the 3. This is a great effect because it really allows you to involve so many people in the audience and allows them to shuffle the cards. It gives a hands-on experience, so much byplay, so much emotion. What more can you ask for? I love this trick. I hope you do too. Besides the Triumph, this effect is the one that I've been closing with for the last, well, about 8, 9 years now. In fact, I used to do this effect before I ever learned the Cull. I used to use Leonard Green's angle separation to separate the red cards and the black cards from each other. I learned this trick, kind of a variation of this trick, from a guy named Kevin Beatty. I worked with him in a little magic shop in Orlando. And every Saturday night, I would gather the tourists around and I would do this trick. So eventually, when I developed the Cull, I applied it to this effect. And it's a complete showstopper. It's so impossible. It's so beautiful. Hope you treat it well. Card is selected. You can force it. You can peek at it. Do whatever you want. All you have to do is know the identity of the card. Again, you know what it is that I like. I like being, hands off. I like for everything to be fair. So I give the deck to the audience. They shuffle and they go crazy. Now, presentation. I turn to the person who picked the card and I make sure that they've only picked one card. And I say, hey, I'm not going to share this with you guys normally, but I want to tell you how I do this. So look. You took one card, right? You touched one card and one card only. And you, sir, you've been shuffling the rest of the deck. So that means while you've been touching all the cards, you have your fingerprints on one card only. It's true. Which hand did you use to take the card? Now they put it up. I look at their fingerprints. I press. I go, okay, that's it. I got it. All I need is your fingerprint. And now I just need to look for the card. Now let's say their card is the 7 of clubs. What I'll do sometimes when I go through here, I'll look at it and I'll make sure if I need to, I'll cut that card towards the bottom. Because again, I want the misdirection, I want their focus to be on looking for their card while I'm spreading through the cards and culling them. Now it doesn't matter whether I cull black cards or red cards. In fact, I like to leave their card in their spread. So in this case, I will cull black cards and I'll leave the 7 of clubs in place. Or I will cull the red cards and the 7 of clubs. So here's how it looks. I start calling the cards. I'm calling all the black cards. And I say, okay, just look for your card. I have a feeling, let's see. No, those are someone else's fingerprints. Okay, that's not it. I know it's not the king. The moment that I see it, I'm going to stop at it. And notice that I leave the 7 of clubs behind. I continue. I call every face-down card. Go, okay, I think, yep. And as I get towards the end, I say, I think I've narrowed it down to about 26 cards. It's a good laugh. I go, okay, you guys are not impressed. Now what I'll do is I'll pick up at the in-jog. I always in-jog that last card, so that's the separation between the two halves. I'll pick it up, I'll slip cut this card. I'll turn to the person who shuffled, and I'll go, hey, when you shuffled, did you shuffle like this? And it doesn't matter how I shuffle because I'm only shuffling all the red cards. So they're all mixed up. The deck is still all black and still all red with their selection somewhere in the middle. Sometimes I'll follow it up with a overhand, with a false riffle shuffle. I'll go, do you shuffle like that? Or do you give it one of those, like a little bridge shuffle? Oh, you get one of those too? Oh, that's terrible. That spreads the ink. That makes it way too difficult. That's okay. I have an extra plan. I have a backup plan. Here's what I do. Now I spread the cards, and sometimes if there's people around me, I try to step back a little bit so they can't see what I'm doing. I'll spread out, and I'll separate at that halfway point. So I'll separate the cards, and I say, look what I can do. instead of shuffling the cards, I'm going to unshuffle. And unshuffling looks something like this. And now I just let the cards fall away. And with a table, it looks really nice. But here, it'll just be like this. If I don't have a table, I'll go watch. Right? Perfect. There. Now I've unshuffled the cards. Now, if I've unshuffled them perfectly, what it means is this. And here's the way I do it, even without a table. I would take and I would turn the red cards first. And I would fan them towards me. I would give them a nice little fan. And you'll notice that when the 7 of clubs is there, I have to cover it up. So I pick up on the card next to it, and I just slide that over. Sometimes the whole packet will move. Sometimes just the one card will move. But now I've got it covered up. But I act as if I'm spreading out all the cards. I go, yeah, perfect. Look, I've unshuffled it into 26 red cards. And now I'll turn this packet over, and one-handed, I'll do a fan. I'll go in 26 black cards. Now, obviously, this is a lot easier to do if you have a table, because you can put one half down, pick up one half, do it, set it back on the table, pick up the other half, and do it. The reason I pick up the opposite color half first, where their selection is because in a moment they're going to be looking for their selection in the black pile, and I don't want to give them too much time to do that. So I cover this up and I set it down on the table, and then I spread the black ones, and they don't really have time to look at it and see if their card is still there. So now I say, sir, please, you hang on to those. I'd like you to hang on to those. Now, I told you I narrowed it down to 26. I'm pretty sure it's one of the 26 black cards, isn't it? Yeah. So I'm going to take out your card invisibly. So now while they're holding on to this, I mime the action of taking their card out. The 7 of clubs. Excellent. Bonus climax. You get that for free. Now you slide that in there. And you go, and your card has vanished from over here. And to make it easier, here it is, the 7 of clubs. So that is a beautiful, beautiful trick. I close with it all the time. I don't know if there's anything else you can do that's stronger. Maybe put the deck into brand new deck order. There's ways to do that too. But here, you have the black cards, you have the red cards. It's an absolutely impossible effect. You leave them with that, you leave them with a clear memory. And you also have a great opportunity to practice the cull right in front of them without anyone ever suspecting a thing. Have fun with this one. Really enjoy it. Well, there you have it. That's the magic that I do. These are the routines. That's the effort, the time, the passion, the love that I have put into my magic. I'm so happy to share this work with you, and I hope you treat it just as well. Moreover, I hope that having watched this DVD and learned and practiced and perfected these techniques, you'll be able to apply the cull in so many other ways. I hope, hey, if you meet me, I hope you fool me with it. I'd love that. It's the best feeling in the world. Remember that learning goes in stages. This is going to take time, practice, but eventually it'll all come together. And before you know it, you'll be culling the cards perfectly. Not only will you be happy with it, but your audiences will be as well. And they'll reward you with thunderous applause. So good luck, have fun, take care.
Good evening. We're here with Kostya Kimlat in the Get to Know Kostya section of the Cull DVD. An inside look at the motivation, mind, and spirit of Kostya Kimlat. How are you doing today, Mr. Kimlat?
I'm wonderful.
Okay, would you mind showing us a peek that you use?
I can show you. You know what it is? I'll show you. This is something that I actually haven't tipped anywhere else.
Okay.
But this is something that our friend BJ.
BJ
Bueno.
BJ
did.
Bueno, of course, great.
And
he's awesome.
he is awesome. He's absolutely phenomenal. And so this is a peak that he came up with when he was working.
Okay.
Late people discovered it for him, and it was kind of cool.
Okay.
He's dribbling the cards like this, and he's got two people next to him. It's kind of like this. Two people are here.
Right.
And he says to this person, he goes, you say stop. The person says stop. He goes, look at your card. Look at that card. Now you're going to try to tell him what his card is. And the guy said it. And so he's like, thinks, he got lucky. So he does it again. Okay, you say stop, remember that card. And then you tell him what the card is.
Ace of spades.
Hey, oh my God. And so he's fooled by this twice, and what he realizes is that as he's doing this, the person is actually peeking at that card directly.
Yeah.
So something fun, and this
Okay.
is, you say stop.
Stop.
Okay, and you remember that card.
Right.
And there it is, a 10 of spades.
Yeah.
And what happens is you look at it here.
So you're just tilting it up towards yourself.
It's just a little bit. I mean, it's just a tiny little
So
tilt.
how do the eyes
So
move?
here
Are
it
you
is.
you're looking as you start to dribble and you look away?
There's a great Marlowe thing. It's in the
Okay.
Revolutionary Card Technique books. And so when you riffle down, right, when they're looking at a card, you're also looking at it, right?
Right.
But then you move up. You move up to this point here, and the frame that they see is they're looking at the card, but your head is turned away.
So
That's
you
the same
stop
feeling you went
riffling,
away.
turn away, and move up.
It's like this. You say stop,
Stop.
remember that card. So by the time the actual card gets into frame, they see my head turned, my eyes are closed.
Okay.
The peak is done all the way down here while they're concentrating on stopping. We both look together. It's just a tiny lift.
Right.
And then you come up here. So BJ called it everybody's peak because he had come up with that on the spot, thanks to lay people. And then he found out so many other people had come up with something similar. So he called it everybody's peak. And I've been doing that since day one.
Okay.
So now we get to hang out with Michael Amar. We get to talk and discuss all the details. Welcome, Michael. Thanks so much for coming out and
That's my pleasure,
hanging out
Kostya.
today. So I was telling you about the other Triumph.
Yes.
And in the original Triumph, when they pick the card and they put it back, you go through. They're always looking at that card, and some magicians are very uncomfortable because they're doing the call while they're being looked at. So what happened on the second one is I changed it around where the cards start off being shuffled, and I talk about the notion. I know this is a strange thing to do, but let's do this anyways. And now when I go through and have them select the cards, the call is being done when the cards are being selected. Therefore, there's nothing to look at.
Great. So you've just changed the entire context of this thumbing through of the deck.
Yeah.
From one of what am I looking for, and maybe you should be looking to do me a favor, select a card. Any
Exactly.
one of these. You can take a face-up one, you can take a face-down one.
And their
okay,
focus is
so,
elsewhere.
okay. Very
So
good.
now they go through and they say they take out the two cards. And we're here. When I'm done here, they're hanging on to the two selections.
Okay.
I leave this whole deck in a little mess here. And now I say, okay, do you want your first card face up or face down?
Face up.
Face up. And I slide it into the face down section. And usually they they just literally go, oh yeah, the other way around. And I slide this in the face up section.
Okay.
And you get this great display. Say, look, ace of hearts.
Looks good to
Jack
me.
of spades, right? That's the only thing you have to remember. We square up the whole thing, pick up at that natural break. We slip cut the cards, the cover cards if we need to. And then snap.
Do that little fancy reverse there.
Right? And then I'm set.
Half pass thing you
Absolutely, exactly.
do. Uh-huh.
And I'm set.
Very nice.
Yeah. So I'm lucky enough today to have Vito Lupo hanging out so we can talk a little more about the Cull and discuss the theory behind the Triumph. How's it going today, man?
Excellent. Nice to be here.
Thank
Really
you so
nice to
much
be
for
here.
showing up.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
So we've talked about the move. We've played around with it a little bit.
I got to experience a little bit of your work. I think primarily the thing that interests me most is that you don't see what it is that you're explaining. And it's certainly quite a task in developing the skill as well to explain, as well as you have on this DVD, the execution, the skill required. But primarily I'm enlightened and inspired by the actual approach that you take to how you use this technique,
Yeah.
And I think that those folks probably purchased this DVD with that same feeling, and so that was a wise choice because there's a little bit of magic in there that's quite personal that I like a lot. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stand by, camera one. Cue talent.
That's that. Seven of spades. Perfect. How far down in the deck would you say the ace of spades is right now?
Right there.
Right there. That's a good estimate.
Because there's a little bit of magic in there that's quite personal that I like a lot.
The three key elements to making the Cull look good are rhythm, speed, and timing. And that's who the diamonds. That's exactly.
I don't even want to know how you did that.